take a moment and look at how endpoint ML applications and the ARM technology behind them is really quite profoundly changing the world in some pretty profound ways, as I say. Let's look at energy efficiency first and foremost. There's an ARM partner called Arçelik. They're a huge appliance manufacturer in Turkey. Now, if you look at a fridge, typically it's the second biggest home energy consumer. About 13% of the total energy consumed in a household. And it plays a critical role in reducing food waste as well. That has a massive carbon footprint. So Arçelik did an experiment to add AI into refrigerators, again, at the endpoint. And they developed a lightweight reinforcement learning algorithm that analyzed local in-home behavior to try and minimize the temperature fluctuations when the door was opened. What they found was astonishing. You could reduce power by 10% in existing fridges just by using this. Now, if you add up the cumulative effect of all of that, hypothetically, you could shut down 9 entire power plants with widespread deployment in Europe alone. That's just astonishing. But let's look at industry. Industrial pumps. They use, I don't know if you knew this, about 10% of the world's electricity. And according to a leading manufacturer, 90% of them, that's 90% of them, are inefficient. So if pumps were a nation, they'd rank 3rd in worldwide consumption. Now, if you want to remotely monitor these pumps, well, that's going to require connectivity. And only 1 in 36,000, that's not 1 in 36, 1 in 36,000 are currently connected. But if you implement a local AI control system, if you implement endpoint ML into this system, like I just mentioned in the Arçelik fridge example, well, they found you can reduce energy consumption by between 15 and 20%. Now, one of the researchers estimates that this could achieve a global energy saving of 2%, which is pretty astonishing. But then you can look at something else like healthcare and hearing aids. One of our partners is developing the next generation hearing aid design, because simply amplifying the sounds around you, that's not the solution. What is using, again, endpoint ML and tinyML and these algorithms to balance the sounds out, because you want to ensure the output is clean and it's ideally tuned to that person's unique type of hearing loss, allowing the brain to work in the most natural way possible. It complements, it really works, and it's astonishing. And then let's look at sustainability. At ARM, we run a series called Made Possible. And this is where we spotlight partners and initiatives that use ARM technology to change the world for good. Because the world, as we know, is driving towards net zero carbon by 2050. So the protection and conservation of these natural carbon sinks like rainforests, that's critical. So Rainforest Connection, which is a non-profit tech startup based in San Francisco, uses sound and machine learning to monitor the rainforest. And they have got a project in Western Sumatra in Indonesia that works with local groups on the ground. And these devices are deployed on the top of the trees with solar panels inbuilt. And these have a really powerful microphone, and it listens to the sounds of the forest 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and tries to pick out specific sounds that could be a threat. So that could be a chainsaw, gunshots, motorcycles, logging trucks. And so if you use that ARM technology and the GPU specifically, they found you could analyze this audio as it comes in. And if that noise is concerning, they notify locals who then investigate that potential unauthorized activity in the forest. So these are just some examples of how, when you combine what ARM's doing with the ecosystem, ML can be deployed for good. And in time, I know when we look at the latest hardware and software I've outlined to you today, that we're going to see even more amazing ARM-powered innovations like this coming from the ecosystem, because we're going to continue to spark the world's AI potential.